Hey YouTube, I've gotten a request from one of my subs on how I set up my 80's whites machines. These vintage older detectors from the 80's. They're not that hard to set up. Some people are a little bit confused about it though, so thought I'd just demonstrate how I do it. The later models have a little bit more to them, but most of them are pretty basic, pretty much like this one. The setup's all pretty basically the same. So let's get started. Okay, when you first start out, you want all these knobs on the presets right there, except for this one. This one you want to have all the way over to Geb norm. Put the tuner down there. Okay, this is the on and off button, so you know you're not going to start out there, but when you turn it on, you're going to turn it on to the preset. Okay. All right, switcher on. Fire up. You first turn it on, you get that loud blast. You gotta squeeze that trigger right there. It's hitting the table. Okay, now we're going to get ourselves a nice even threshold here. Buzzing sound. Now you want to make sure there's no iron on the ground where you're going to try to ground balance the machine. There's iron over here. It's a piece of metal there. You don't want any metal where you're going to ground balance. Okay, pull the trigger, drop it down. Okay, when you hear the sound raise up like that, it means you have a positive ground balance. So you have to adjust this knob this way. I'll go put it on to 5. Pull the trigger again. See, it's better. Okay, this particular machine has a fine tuning knob on it. When we hit that, pull the trigger again. A little bit more. Okay, when you get a nice even tone, doesn't raise or lower, you're ground balanced. Okay, you could be too far this way. If you lower it and it goes quiet, then you have a negative ground balance. And to fix that, you have to turn it the other way. Okay, that sounds pretty good. It's pretty ground balanced. Alright, anytime that you change one of these knobs, you have to pull this trigger after you reset the knob. You gotta pull that trigger to reset your threshold. Okay. Now, once I've got it ground balanced, I can put it on Geb disc. And I'm going to set the threshold down a little bit. Okay, I changed that, so I got to pull the trigger again. Now I'm ready to hunt. I got a zinc penny right there. Okay, it's hitting right where it's supposed to. Pull the trigger to reset it. Copper penny. Alright, that's good. Pull the trigger to reset it. Nickel. There's the nickel. Pull the trigger to reset it. You always want to pull that trigger to reset your threshold. That's a quarter. Must be a piece of iron there. Okay, there's the quarter. There's the dime. There's the dime. Okay. That's just about it. Like I said, there's more later machines from the 80s that have, I think some of them even have an automatic ground balance and ground tracking. This one has a sat button. If I was hunting in all metal mode, I would switch this on, and that resets the threshold for me. But hunting in all metal in a trashy area is not something I would recommend unless you like getting headaches. Okay, that's it. That's how I set up my White's machine. Okay, see you later.